I needed that. Like, I need air to breathe. Jovic, dude. Miami Heat get themselves a big-time win in Minnesota for the first time in years. The Heat are able to pull one out in Minnesota. They win 95-94. Nikola Jović with the and one. Beautiful cut to the basket. Beautiful play set up by Erik Spoelstra. Flexing on him with the ooh. And then steps to the line, hits the ice-cold three. And the Miami Heat able to get one more stop. Really two more stops on the Minnesota Timberwolves. And are able to walk out of there with a huge win on this road trip. Snap a 3-game losing streak. Get themselves to 4-5. First game without Jimmy Butler as he goes down with an ankle injury. New starting lineup. Kevin Love coming back. And Nikola Jović, you thought maybe in a game like this, hey, kid, it's been nice knowing you. We don't really know your niche right now. We don't really know where to go. And in fact, what happened was his best game in a Miami Heat uniform this season. He was absolutely tremendous, giving you 15 strong off the bench, 7 rebounds. He had the confidence in the three-point shot. He had the wherewithal to stay with his defenders, especially in his second stint after getting into the quick foul grabs early on. But when you needed him, when they go for this last shot, Heat need a bucket. They get a huge call because Spo uses the challenge. Jaden McDaniels gets a putback, and I'm thinking to myself, I can't believe they're about to lose on another putback in less than a week. Thankfully, Spo calls the challenge. The and one is wiped away. They still are up 2, but that would give Miami the opportunity to tie. They don't need the 3 on the road to tie the game. Huge call by Erik Spoelstra. It's overturned. It's 94-92. They go with Love, Nico, Duncan Robinson, Terry Rozier, Tyler on the court. Duncan Robinson inbounding the ball. Terry Rozier shakes it loose. Nobody gets up and picks up Nico. Whoop! Right into the basket. He gets the N1. He gives the big flex. Gives the old mean mug under the basket. And what a moment. What a moment for the 21-year-old Serbian to get that right as he's made a reserve. You're like, all right, kid, what's going to be your role here? Where are we going with this? No, he was an absolute monster today for the Miami Heat. He was huge. Even in this last fourth quarter, he's throwing up a lob to Bam. Bam should have put the Heat in a better position to bring it in. He missed both free throws. Got free chicken. His scoring woes continue. But that's another story for another day. Nico would bring the Heat to within 1. He would go out there and make it 90-89 for Miami. And Miami was all over the place today, man. No fear in Nikola Jović today, man. He had a blow by Naz Reid today. He had a beautiful defense on Reid where Randall was missing a 3 ball. Just no fear in this Nikola Jović. Didn't think, just did. And you had to love that he was playing this game. This was a wild game, yeah. You heard right. This was a game, this is almost an oddity in today's NBA. 2 teams scoring under 100 points. Turnovers were like, they were all over the place. 22 for Miami. 19 for Minnesota. Very willy-nilly with the basketball today. You have to think these new lineups and everybody kind of figuring each other out in their roles. Guys coming back. A bevy of that today was from Tyler Hero. Tyler Hero had 8 turnovers, and he's been pristine with the basketball, but you're dealing with a lot of new players, a lot of new rotations. We saw some Duncan and Bam together here today. But this was needed, man. This was so needed for this road trip. There's been a lot of heartbreak that has gone the Miami Heat's way. And you could have gone out there and you would have probably thought to yourself, you know what? They've been losing to some good teams. These games have been very close. You don't have Jimmy Butler tonight. You could take some moral victory in that, but that's loser talk. And now you are able to get the road trip on a spot where, hey, maybe you can go out with these final East games. You're starting this kooky in-season tournament on when does that start? That is on Tuesday against the Detroit Pistons, and maybe you can figure some things out there. But Man, this was a crazy one. Another one of those third quarters where it looked like Miami had this one in hand, and we're gonna go into this thing, and they were easy breezy. But Kevin Love comes back. He has a strong second stint. When he comes in and he starts the third quarter, Kevin Love gets the outlet pass to Scary Terry. He got a steal to a Tyler Jam, and then Kevin Love got a put back and one, put Miami up by 7. And then that would be the last time Miami would score for like the next 6.5 minutes. They were just Dante DiVincenzo got off. They were starting to break loose on Miami. Thankfully, at the end of the buzzer, Jaime Jaquez, who also made his return tonight, his moment of the game, blow by the basket, gets a bucket over Rudy Gobert, and brings Miami to within 3. To right at the third quarter buzzer. So he really had his moment for this one in his return too. Tyler Hero remains an offensive juggernaut for Miami. Another 26 points for him tonight. 4 of 8 from the 3-point line. Got to the free throw line. He had 4 or 5 from there. He's just been tremendous. They were really trying to be more physical with him today and just didn't seem as bothered. This is obviously a team that has a lot of weapons to throw at him defensively. And I really didn't feel like this was a Tyler Hero who buckled too much. Yeah, I know the turnover number was what it was. This guy's averaging 26.5 over his last 4 games. He's been an absolute monster for Miami. We got to see some Khalil Ware, who had a nice first run out there for Miami. Sick block. He hit the patented Caleb Martin 3 with the toe on the line. Got an alley-oop as well. Got up high on that alley-oop, so that was pretty cool to see. A lot of pieces today. Duncan Robinson remains on fire for Miami. He and Anthony Edwards got into a little chitter-chatter today during the game, a little John back and forth from Ant-Man and Dunkyard Dog. But he is not one to back down. He's not one to be trifled with, the Dunkyard Dog. Bam Adebayo, just another game where he offensively struggled. I mean, really, if it's not a dunk right now or right at the cup, he just has no touch with the offensive game. But, this is going to be one of those games where Eric Spoelstra is going to tell you, hey, look besides the last column in the box score, because Bam tonight, 3 blocks, 1 steal, 7 assists, 7 rebounds. He really did do a lot of good things out there for Miami. I believe it was a team high tonight in plus minus, which was plus 12. You're going up against Rudy Gobert. I really do feel like this slump's something's gonna shake loose on this. Took a couple threes tonight. Both of them rimmed out. Maybe the game looks a lot different if both of those go in for him. The killer today was missing the free throws from him. That was definitely annoying. But he was very, very impactful in other places. And Miami just needed to find a way to get a game over the finish line like this. Minnesota's a good team. They're 6-3 coming into this game. Miami does not beat that team. They were saying today, last time they won in Minnesota, Wayne Ellington was the leading scorer for Miami. Wayne Ellington is now on the Heat coaching staff. Hassan Whiteside was on that team. They really have not had any success with Jimmy Butler. I think they've beaten them once with Jimmy Butler on the team when he plays, and they've won twice since Jimmy Butler has I think they've won twice against them without Jimmy Butler playing. They don't win against the Minnesota Timberwolves. So you had games on this road trip against 2 teams you never beat in Denver and Minnesota. You're able to split, and obviously Miami really felt like they had to dig in defensively in a game like this after what had just happened in Denver, where they're giving up 62% shooting, and they did that. So Eric Spoelstra was able to come up with a big time play. I think it was good for him to get into his wheelhouse a little bit and draw something up. But out of everything, of course, the story tonight is Nikola Jović. To have this moment on the day when you're taken out of the starting lineup, you don't pout, you don't boo-hoo over it, no. He had his best game of the season. He did not look afraid. He actually looked freed, which was one of the things I said. If they take him out, I think it was actually going to be good for him, because I think that there were going to be more opportunities for him to not feel like he's so boxed in on having to take these corner shots or just standalone shots. Nikola Jović is best when he can move with the ball in his hands. He can move with the court. He can be a freight train. He's got to get better at polishing some things with punishing players who are smaller than him, and certainly some finishing around when the game slows down. But when the game can get ramped up and he can get a full head of steam and move, he's a very dangerous person out there, man. He is dangerous. So I just thought such a huge moment for him. Such a huge moment for him. He needed that. If anybody was going to have that moment for him, I don't think it could come to a better player on this team than it could to the young Jovic, the Serbian Terminator himself, flexing on him in Minnesota. They thought they were going to go home with some free chicken and a W. No, you can have your free chicken, but you're going to have to eat it with a side of L.